Hey there, welcome to the live stream of consciousness, where I love to dive deep into the mysteries of the mind and the soul through the perspectives of my amazing guests and the conversation that comes from it. Tonight, my guest is an incredible psychic medium from Southern California, medium Jennifer Rose. Join me in a moment.
Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. The live stream of consciousness is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of existence. Every episode, we ask the fundamental question, what is consciousness? Is consciousness merely a product of our brains, or does it connect us to something greater? Explore the very fabric of our thoughts. Don't miss a moment. Expand your awareness and tap into the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Yes, welcome to the live stream of consciousness. I'm Michael Zinn, and we are about to dive into the boundless potential that resides within you. I love picking little words out of that intro Jesse made for me, and saying that's what we're going to focus on. But we'll focus on all of it every week. It is Thursday. It's May 16th. I'm super excited. It's only May. Remember how we slowed down time just consciously by thinking it's not going so fast? Last year, it was like, oh my God, it's next week. It's next week. And now it's just like a nice controlled pace. It's all the breath. It's all of that stuff. I see so many people piling in. I'm so excited to have been invited into Debbie's community, Transcend with Debbie, and that has connected me with so many other people. Last week we had Michael Christopher, which was awesome. And this week I have another amazing psychic medium. And I'm just going to welcome her to the show. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness, medium Jennifer Rose.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me on your show. Hi, everybody who's here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying yes. I'm so excited about all of the energy of all the people that I've been talking to and inviting to the show. So I'm excited to meet you and hear everything that you're all about. I kind of, there's like two different formats I've been using for the show. One is I'll pick a topic and we'll talk about the topic. But when I meet a new guest, that's usually when I bring somebody back who I've already spoken to. But when I meet a new guest, there's kind of some formalities, and that is like,
Okay.
let's lay the groundwork for what we're even talking about, right? And so that question is, what is consciousness? What is consciousness?
Oh my gosh, what is consciousness? You want to just start right out with that one?
Yep, that's it right away.
You're my kind of guy. Oh my gosh. I thought you wanted to go with formalities. Who are you?
Well, we are going to get into that. See,
What
that's
is
the thing.
consciousness? No, I love it. No, that's what I love exploring. So this is my beautiful avenue that I love to do, because I'm all about love, but I'm all about like moving into that space. And hello to all of our beautiful friends that are here today. I recognize there's Miss Debbie, there's Stacia, there's Michael, there's Iris, all our beautiful friends, and nice to meet some new people here too. But consciousness, it's oh gosh, you'd probably get 100 different answers with that one, couldn't you? Mind, awareness, heart, creator,
Mhm.
beyond the beyond. It's into the infinite, but it's, I would say, beyond energy,
Mhm.
beyond light, beyond vibration, beyond frequency.
Oh wow, really? Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
That's a new answer. Okay. Because usually all of those things you said are part of the answer. Frequency, light,
Mhm.
vibration, source. But you're saying beyond.
Beyond.
You're adding another level to it. Explain.
Because there's always more. There's always more that's really, you know how Buzz Lightyear always says to infinity and beyond? That's actually quite
Yes, I
accurate.
do.
Yeah,
I
there's
do.
always
I do.
more. There's always more.
And I love it. I
I
love
see
that answer.
energy. Thank you, thank you. I see energy being connected to matter, and same with light too. And we are all of that, but we're also that which thought of it too. And
Mhm.
you can't really put a word on that. So we're
Mhm. Mhm.
consciousness is a really good word. It's
Mhm.
one of the
Mhm.
best ones that we have,
Mhm. Mhm.
but we're all trying to elevate into that more. But even in this lifetime, we'll only get so far, because there's going to be
Yeah.
more once we go on to those other realms. So we'll only get so far with that. But what really matters is, what do we do with it here? So it's fun to go out there and go, wow, look at all, but what do we do with it here? How do we apply it to us here to make the most of the time that we have being us?
Totally. And you know what? That's amazing. Like I said, we do get so many answers, and they all connect to each other, right? And they become part of the
Right.
bigger answer. But I love that you said beyond, because what it brought to mind for me was beyond understanding, right? And
Yeah.
when I say that, I mean understanding in the confines of the three-dimensional existence that we're in, right? Because
Right.
when we're beyond that, we do have a greater understanding. But
Correct.
to even put that in the context of, okay, we're in that greater understanding, but there's even more than that, like beyond. I love that. That's great. You've added to the answer. That's what I love about that question.
Yay!
It's like, if the answer grows every time I ask it, the answer becomes bigger and
It's
bigger,
unending layers. It's very true.
expanding like the universe. Exactly. That's awesome. So yeah, like I said, I do, part of the show is for me to hold space for my guest and find out all about what they do and how they, what your specific connection to source is and how it expresses through you and how you express it. But so one of the questions I like to ask that kind of can lead us into that is, if you have a specific memory or a moment that you can share where you realized there was more than the 3D that we're kind of taught about and learn to exist within.
Yeah, thank you. Well, there've been several. So I'm definitely throughout my life had things happen along the way. I knew I was intuitive from an early age, so I knew that. But it was really when I started my mediumship development, that's when things started to really move much faster and start to really go deeper,
Sure.
sort of beyond what maybe we can philosophize. If we're just having an intellectual conversation and kind of expanding our awareness, we can sort of philosophize about what's out there and things like that. But it's when you're having an internal psychic experience, which I think is where you're going with that,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you start to get into those other places. So my transformation progressed over time. A lot happened through COVID as well, because we were all that was prime territory for spirit to put everybody into that, because we had the time to actually hibernate.
Right.
And so like I went into the quantum field, and I don't know how I went to the store grocery shopping, and I could see the connectivity of everything, the streets, the plants,
Oh,
the
wow.
stuff in the store. Why spirit made me go shopping, I don't know, but they protected me, so I was able to get back and forth. But
Mm-hmm.
it was the strangest thing. But I went there, but there was a point where what I was experiencing with spirit or in my awareness gradually got me step by step to realize that, to kind of get me past the illusion of separate self.
Wow. And so when you went out shopping during COVID, was it like was it like abandoned, and it felt like, what was it that you think triggered that sensation of seeing everything connected?
Well, when you're in deep states of transformation, you kind of move into altered states of awareness
Mm-hmm.
too. So we do that when we drive. Do you ever drive somewhere and don't know how you got there? And you
Often,
like
yeah.
lost half an hour. Yeah. So there is a higher self. There is a higher consciousness, another part of you that's helping you get from point A to point B, even if you're. And so that says a lot. It's something to think about. It's something to really just look at that and how that happens and
Yeah.
why. Who got
Yeah.
me? Who got me there?
Right.
Right? How did I
Right.
do that? Right? And so it lets you know that there's many states of awareness that we flow in and out of all the time. We just don't realize it because we kind of forget where we just were and move on. And everything's a memory, and it's designed to sort of make sense.
Right.
But once you start moving into deeper levels, and then you start to see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just kind of being in that altered state, but I was able to I could just see how everything connected. It
Wow.
was cool. It was really cool.
Wow. Okay.
But it's
So,
all connected.
right.
Everything's
But
connected.
I read on your website that, from an early
Yeah.
age, you kind of knew that you
Mhm.
had some abilities and you felt things
Yeah.
differently, saw things. Was there an
Yeah.
experience? Can you tell me about an experience from that early age, that you
Yeah,
can.
I wasn't one of those children who like saw multiple spirits all the time. That wasn't me. That's a
Mhm,
good thing for some people here to hear, because they may think that that's what they are supposed to, and they're like, "Oh, that didn't happen to me." That's okay. You
mhm,
you can do that anytime in your life. But I did know I was intuitive. I knew, because I just knew things. I knew things that were going to happen. I felt things. I was highly, highly sensitive, highly, highly empathic. People notice that, and I didn't know any difference. All I know is that I'm me, so I didn't know, how to compare. But you start to realize it after a while, and people would say you're too sensitive, and I'm like, you're not sensitive enough. The little part.
that's funny.
And but I do have some memories of, spirit coming into my awareness. I was at a church once, like a Christmas Eve service, and the music just moved me. I must have been 5, 6, 7, and I just
Mhm,
felt the spirit chills that we get when we're connecting with
mhm,
spirit all over me too.
mhm,
And as a teenager, I was, anything I could find on TV that was metaphysical, moving into going to the bookstores and things like that. But there were those moments where there's something else that's there and you're aware of it. But at that age, you don't always know what it means.
mhm,
And then, moving fast forward into more of my adult years, someone passes away, and then I'm aware that that person is there with me. I still
mhm.
don't quite know what it all means, but I know that that's there. I had one relative pass away and came in and was turning my TV off and on, and I could feel his emotions and everything like that. So
Wow.
that was before I started my development. So yeah, um, things along the way that got me there. But I was always that way. I was always
Mhm.
interested in anything metaphysical or anything deeper. I studied philosophy for a while. I studied religious studies.
Mhm.
So yeah.
What about paranormal? Anything paranormal or?
Yeah, I love paranormal too. I it's not something that's my specialty or that I do. Like, I don't do as much of it as Debbie is, but Debbie and I are very aligned in how we like to tell the story of what's
Right.
happening versus just making the phenomenon happen or understanding the phenomenon. I do have experience in physical mediumship, which is where you sit in circle, in a harmonic circle, usually playing music, loving music, upbeat music, for this purpose of connecting with spirit world to get physical phenomenon,
Mhm.
lights, sounds, direct voice, materializations, apports, those things like that. So I have a lot of experience with that.
Right.
When you go into paranormal, it's a little bit of a different thing, but it's still kind of similar. But moving to be able to go in and actually tell the story and unfold what's happening versus just getting the sounds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, that
something that's
totally makes
very
sense.
that's something that's very interesting to me, because I've had people come to me with certain experiences and things that were scary for them, and
Mhm.
then be able to connect with spirit and find out that it wasn't scary. It was very
Oh, wow.
symbolic.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I
Yeah.
love the way you're talking about certain experiences. I use the idea of energy, right? And that energy is a huge part of what we are and what consciousness is. Um, and you said something about going to church and feeling the energy.
Yeah.
I use the analogy of going to a concert or going to like a sports game
Yeah.
where everybody's there with this very specific intention,
Mhm.
right, to have a
Yeah.
good time and to support their team and to
Right.
have that, and you feel it when you walk in, right? You feel
Yeah.
everybody's energy, and I never thought about it until you said it, but I think
Yeah.
church can also be that kind of thing, so,
Yeah.
organized religion and certain things, I kind of separate them from the spirit world, but that energetic, connection is absolutely, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
really,
collective, and
yeah, yeah,
everybody's there, like you said, with that loving intention, or like with a concert, it's collective joy. It's collective joy and celebration and happiness and music.
right,
And again, I'm talking about when I'm in church, I was listening to music too. So
right,
that
right,
music is
exactly.
a conduit, is a vehicle to spirit. It's kind of like the language that, it's a different language that they speak. When I go mediumistically, they work very symbolically and things like that, but they do
Mhm,
give me songs sometimes. But
mhm,
music is really the language of the spirit. It's all channeled, too.
right, right,
But yeah, so that's a good vehicle. But I'm not religious, I'm spiritual because of the work that I do, but I love sitting in churches because the energy's in there. It's
Yeah,
holy. So it's a
yeah,
great place to go if you just want some healing. You don't have to
yeah.
go to like listen to the sermon or whatever. You can just go in off hours and sit in there and
Right. Yeah.
just
No, that's
be in the
cool.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. And I like the idea that okay, you don't necessarily need to be, religious within organized religion
yeah,
to understand it and respect it and even enjoy it, right? And enjoy
yeah,
certain aspects of
yeah.
it. I think
Well,
that's
why not take advantage of the space,
right,
because if the space, because people are going there and they're praying to spirit, right? They're praying to
right,
God or to
right,
whatever they want to call it. But
right.
that energy accumulates over time. So it's very, what do you kind of, amplified.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you don't have access to, say, going to a physical mediumship circle like I did, I was very lucky. I got to do that from, very early on in my development group, to where I could sit in the power, and
Mhm.
it's very concentrated power. And like you, oh my God, you move into that power and you lose your sense of self and you don't care because it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
That's what that's like when you go into that space. But
right.
yeah, if you don't have access to that, want some healing, go sit in a church off hours.
Yeah, and at the
Yeah.
source of religion is really the idea of connection to source, right? Your connection to
Yeah.
God, right? That's what they in religion it's
Yeah.
called God, and I call it
Yeah.
source. People call it the universe.
Yeah.
It's all different
Mhm.
things, but I feel like it all represents the same thing. That your connection to
Yeah.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's what I love talking. Why I love talking to people like yourself, because you have a very specific connection and expression of that connection. I think that goes a little outside of the norm, right? Outside of the everyday 3D world. Was that you that texted something today about having a 3D kind of day
Yeah.
earlier? Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, that's so I so get it. I so get
I
it.
I had to do earthly things,
You
earthly
know what,
stores.
it comes with the deal, I think. We got to do that kind of stuff. So okay, so let me open up the floor to you. And how long have you been professional, I guess, psychic medium? How long have you been doing
Yeah,
it?
I've been doing this for about 8 years
Okay,
now. So it's a fair amount of time. I mean, I certainly met mediums that have been doing it for much longer than that too. But
sure.
it's you always learned, you always continue growing. But I love it. I love doing everything that I do. I'm blessed
Sure.
to do
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
work.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's one of the things I love about meeting psychic mediums. Especially psychic mediums who are just very authentically dedicated to understanding the power of what they're doing. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I've very often gone. One of my good friends is Christopher Allen, and I do a lot of filming of his shows and broadcasting of his shows, and just being in these readings, often I'm crying. I'm just like so emotionally overtaken by what's happening, and the things that are going on. And you know the things that I find a lot of psychic mediums say, and you can tell me how you feel about this, is one is that we've all got this innate ability. We can all connect to these energies, um and again, the authenticity of I'm not here to do anything but deliver a message, and even taking myself out of the picture, you know what I mean, and any biases, all of that stuff. I just love it. I feel like I've just seen so much healing through it.
Yeah.
um you know um so I just want to acknowledge everybody in the chat. I usually try to
Yeah.
pop up the chat.
Hi, everyone.
I see everybody's kind of telling their own stories, but I really want to focus on you and talk to you. But let's see what we got. I relate to that energy in churches.
Hi,
Doing
Lynn.
psychic work, church center is easy because the energy is so loving and positive. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
In
that's what I love about.
America, there's a lot of Center for Spiritual Livings. It's if there's not a spiritualist church around, you'll probably find a Center for Spiritual Living. So it's the closest thing sometimes that people have to finding, like, um, they're very much
Community
into
and
affirmative
support.
prayer.
Mhm,
Yeah, without it
mhm.
being,
Yeah, yeah,
so
and
traditional. Yeah.
3D human things. Yep, we've all got those human things. um, and Helen said she spent a lot of time in as a teen in church, but started to cry, so she stopped. Wow, emotional response to church.
Oh, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
I don't know if that's because
talk
she's
about,
feeling the love
I talk about it
or
often.
if
I
it's
feel like when you're crying, it's just like the closest
emotional
you can be
release.
to your soul, right? Because
Yeah.
you're actually manifesting whatever the thoughts are
Yeah.
into physical, salt and tears and water and just choking up and like,
I know
physical.
there's beauty in that, you know.
There really is. Yeah.
We think happiness and joy and love is supposed to look a certain way, but in that release of emotion and the healing that's coming from that, there's beauty in that too,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to your story. You've
Okay.
been doing this about for 8 years. You said so. You mentioned that
Mhm.
COVID, you had a significant experience. So I thought it was even less time that you've been doing it. But
Yeah.
and then before the show, we were talking that you don't really do one-on-one. You're more. Tell me how you work.
Well, I'm not working in person very much. I'm doing mostly everything online now. I did that before, but right now it works to do most of my private sittings through Zoom,
Mhm,
and all my events are through Zoom or through StreamYard. So
mhm.
it enables me to reach a lot of people. And I don't have the time to be traveling long distances to people's houses anymore. So,
And I mean, I can't.
yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because now that I think of it, Chris, my friend Chris, he started doing some online stuff on Instagram, and it really almost allows you to expand your reach. Right now, you're working with people in different countries and all around the world. And they always say your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So specifically with what you do, it's like people are going to are starting to seek you out. I mean, I'm imagining that's how you get a lot of word of mouth. Probably people like, oh
Yeah.
my God, to other people who believe that that the connection is real.
Yeah, yeah. Some people find me by they come to one of I have my own Sunday service that I run every 2 weeks. It's a spiritual service. They find me that way, or they see me in somebody else's event or on one of my lives that I do.
Hmm.
Or they just see my account running in the feed and they just feel drawn to me and message me. So I've had that happen too. They're like, I don't know why I followed you. I saw your picture and I just felt like I had to. One person found me by accident. She was looking for somebody else on Google and she saw me instead and she followed
Hmm.
it. And then we had a great session together too. So it's
Hmm.
really cool the way like spirit makes all of these things
Yeah,
happen, you
that's
know?
so. I was just gonna say that. Isn't that kind of the way it works, right? Like,
It
it's
is.
like everything happens the way it's supposed to, and it's really cool for me. My whole life, I kind of had this weird thing that like I would connect people together, right? I would introduce two people, and then a week later, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm working with Joe on this project," and like, I mean, it just happened all the time, and I got to enjoy that. I was like so happy that I can facilitate ripples, you know what I mean? Just like
Exactly.
just by being.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh wow, I have a superpower, you know.
You do. You have many.
Kind of a weird one, but but I'll take it, right? I'll take it. So tell me your style. If have you ever done group readings? I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, I do group readings, usually 6 to 8 people. So I run those, as private events through my website. And I do one-on-one readings, and then I do platform demonstrations for churches, or if other people were to call me to do that, I do that too. So pretty much do everything, kind of multi-medium. But
yeah,
yeah,
I love that.
thank you.
That's very cool. So you have any cool stories that you can share with us? Like I know, like watching Chris, I know there's always like he'll tell me a story about a validation, right? That has just been like so like that would never happen, right? Do you have any of those that you can pull out of the hat?
Off the top of my head, there was one, and this wasn't in person. I went to another medium friend of mine invited me to be part of her soul retreat, and she had all different kinds of practitioners.
Mhm,
And a bunch of ladies in her neighborhood signed up, and
mhm.
so I got to do the mediumship. So I did, like, I don't know, 14 readings in a couple of hours. So it was a lot of work. It was super fun though. But there was one gal and
All
I
on people
connected.
who were like highly sensitive.
I'm sorry.
Like all the people were. were kind of mediums as well?
Oh yeah, there was someone who's doing like tarot, and there was someone who's doing astrology,
Gotcha.
and
Different modalities. Right,
someone
right,
was
right.
doing healing. Yeah, yeah. So I was doing the mediumship, so connecting with loved ones, and but there was one gal, she was just lovely, and I was connecting with a friend of hers who had passed.
Mhm.
And I'm like, he's gonna start showing you unicorns as a sign. And she's like, I never see unicorns. Well, sure enough, I gave her she came to a reading in the future for me again, and
Mhm.
she said the next day they started showing up left and right, like, and she was like, I could so that was
That's
fun because I
awesome.
don't always get the feedback, but it's nice when we do, and it's nice when they're predictive too. And they, you know what I mean? And
Jennifer, that's
yeah.
even better than what I asked for. That's not a story of a validation of something that happened. That was like, this is going to start happening, and it literally happens the next day.
And
That's
it's a fun
amazing.
one because unicorns are cool, so it was a fun.
Yeah, and she even said, she's like, I never see unicorns, and
Yeah,
all
she
of a
thought that was
sudden,
very strange, and then sure enough, they started showing up. Like, so I was like, thank
oh, that sounds
you.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I see some people. I don't know. It's kind of early in the show. I don't know how you feel about it, but I see some people asking in the audience for messages. Is that something that you're feeling up to? I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but if so, I'll pop the message up. If not, we can
Um,
talk about something else.
it's whatever you like. You run the show. I'll do whatever you like.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. I mean, again, I know a lot of mediums. My girlfriend does Reiki, so I know that there's a
Uh-huh.
certain exchange of energy. It takes something out of
Yeah.
you and all that. So I want
Eh,
to be
all
respectful of
good.
that. But okay, so Shannon
Mhm.
is asking for a message from her grandmother who
Grandmother.
passed.
Okay,
Grandmother
grandmother. So,
Sue.
so Shannon, are you still here, love? Can you just give me a quick yes that you're still here? And then if you could help me out just by giving me feedback in the comments, so if things are making sense, type in yes, no, just to make so I make sure I'm not in tracking with somebody else that I'm reading. With your grandmother Sue, though, as she comes in forward, she shows me like sunshine on the horizon. I want to see sunshine on the horizon. I don't know if you're connected to the water, or if this is just symbolic for her too, but there's a lot of what I say is sunshine themes that come for you, Shannon. So like sunflowers, sunshine on the horizon, look at the stars, look how they shine for you, all of this going on for you too. So she comes in very, very, very bright. I see sadness for missing her. I see the missing her. So I see the heart connection with her too. And I see the heart connection goes this way. And I see that you already get things from her too, because you're very psychically connected on your own. So she's already touching your awareness. So please just believe that happens. You're very connected through music and frequency and vibration. So I would encourage you to use that for yourself to enhance your own connection too. I do see a lot of flowers around her too. She's interesting because she's got some different sides to her too. She has a lot of what I want to say is purple color. Like I feel like I want to put her in a purple dress. So she would be what I want to say is spiritually aware person, pretty wise, pretty aware in that sense of the way. So let me know if this is making sense, Shannon too. But I see her being very loving and nurturing, but I also see her being very independent and free thinking as well. So I just feel like even though she's real sweet and kind, I feel like she also like wouldn't take any what from people too. So she's got that going on in her. So I just want to say, go, Granny. Just my kind of lady.
Nice.
So let me know if this is making sense, Shannon, if you would too. But the love, the love, the love. Please also look for the butterflies. I know they are a common symbol, but please also look for them because I feel like she can give those to you in uh, different colors and different species of butterflies too. So please hold on to that as well. I also want to give you 333. So you're looking at the clock, you're seeing 333. It's waking you up, or you're seeing it in the middle of the afternoon too, or you're seeing threes on license plates and things like that. So please hold on to that. That's significant to you because your own spiritual awareness, your own spiritual awakening is going like this. I can see the path just unfolding before your eyes like this too. And you're just kind of like, wow, too. You're very mental, you're very connected. Your solar plexus is real activated. So grandma's here, but I know I'm working a little psychically, but grandma's here and she's wanting to talk about you and yourself and your, what I want to say is what you're bringing into yourself. So you're collecting a lot of knowledge right now too. Let it marinate for a little while and then go and do something with it. Okay. Let it marinate what you're bringing in and then go do something with it that you can use that helps somebody else, because you do have the ability, just like Michael does. He goes and, someone at the store and he, is able to, give a little bit of words of wisdom to somebody he just met, right? You do that too, right? You can do that also, Shannon, too. You have a really beautiful heart, but the pink connection, the pink heart connection with the two of you too. But she is very determined. She's got this determined, she's kind of got that kind of like, Aries, like Leo vibe to her. So if she's not a fire sign, she definitely has fire somewhere in there in her chart too, that I would want to bring forth from her too. But she's not afraid to like take things apart, fix it herself, figure out how they work too. So she's got that kind of mind too. That goes with her too. Very, very smart lady. So she's somebody to listen to, even from spirit world, Shannon. Call on her for advice, because she's not going to she's not going to cloud anything for you. She'll give it to you straight. She's just like this. She'll give it to you straight. So when you hear that, when you feel like you've just gotten a download or a hit or an aha moment of just like some just straight practical, do it this way, that's coming from her. You don't have to listen, but I recommend it because she's kind of smart. So if this is making sense for you, Shannon, let me know. But that's what I'm getting so far. But, your love, your love, your love, your love, your love, you hold it in your hands. Okay. Okay. And you're like this beautiful lotus flower that just keeps growing higher and higher and higher. And even though the lotus flower is growing down in the soil underneath the water, Shannon, it all clears. It all goes clear. And then you just kind of go like this, and the sun is just kind of coming down on you like that. So that's from your grandmother. She's reminding you how beautiful and special and important you are, because you forget sometimes, and that's normal because we're human. You forget sometimes, but you hear little chimes in your ears. You hear a little ringing from time to time, reminding you, and you go into that little dreamy space. She tells me, she gives me the 8s and the infinities and the 0s for you. You go into that little dreamy space, and that's where you're getting your downloads. You're getting your information. I encourage writing some of them down if you can, because otherwise you're going to forget them. I do hear her saying she's aware of family issues as well. And she's giving healing to certain family members for either a little health issue or just to help calm nerves, things like that. You also have a very sensitive nervous system. So just something for you to take good care of. So your beautiful pink rose, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you, Shannon. So I hope all that was resonating with you.
Jennifer, I don't know if this is weird or not, but I'm like I feel it. I think that's why I'm doing this show. I just love to be around people who are connecting to source in whatever way they're doing it, right? And that's what you're doing. And man, it was just, that's what I meant when I was like, what's your style, right? And you just went right into it, and I can feel it. And that was a really awesome reading. Shannon says thank you so much. She did say while you were reading, she did say she's a strong woman. It made sense. I popped that up, and I just wanted to let you keep going.
You don't want to mess with her grandma. She'll be real sweet until you get in her face or mess with someone she loves, and she'll be like doing that.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So I guess this brings me to a subject, because there's a lot of people who are saying, hey, if you're drawn, I'm open to a message. So maybe if you want to look at the chat, but this brings me to the topic of mediumship development or intuitive development, right? Like I don't ever, maybe I'm starting to feel drawn towards this in a different way than before. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, because I'm not usually drawn to a specific modality, right? I've taken a class on Akashic Records. Something drew me to it. So the woman, Lynn Laborde, who was giving the class, is a good friend of mine, and something said, take this, right? And I did, and I definitely got something out of the class. Like, there was no doubt. Especially it was like a Zoom class with a whole bunch of people in it, and the second class that we had, I literally connected with each person on the screen. There was a moment I had where I was just like connected to each one, and it was awesome. But I feel like I haven't been pushed or called to like do what you do so specifically, right? But when you're doing it, I'm there, I'm resonating with it. I'm not seeing images, I'm not necessarily getting the message, but I'm like, oh, she's right. Oh, she's right. Like I'm just knowing that the energy that's
Hmm.
happening is resonating through me, or I'm feeling it. So,
Yeah, you're a
maybe,
mystic.
yeah, maybe I do need to take that. But you offer mediumship development. I know, some of my guests do.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that? What is that, and what are the people who usually come to that class? Like, where is that? Is that like a calling kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So people definitely do feel called to start developing their mediumship and working on it to
mhm,
enhance their skills and work on it. You could be, gifted from your childhood and have always been talking to spirit, and
mhm,
it's still a really good idea to have some development if you can.
mhm, mhm,
Because there's just certain things that are good to know how to hold space for people,
mhm,
because you're dealing
mhm,
with people's grief and their
mhm,
sensitivities, and
mhm,
it's a very sacred space. And we need to make sure everything we're doing is healing and uplifting, and
mhm.
not causing harm or
Right.
negativity and things like
Sure.
that. So that's why there's certain things that are helpful to learn. We usually start out with some kind of structure, but then over time, you let go of some of the structure and allow the spirit to keep flowing through. It's kind of
Mhm.
like with healing, you learn a structure, you learn all your symbols, and then after a while you realize you don't need to like work so hard at it anymore. You just let the healing flow through you. it's
Right.
it's kind of like that too.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it is a good idea because there's a lot of foundational work, there's a lot of mechanics to it. And practicing with the other students, you make friends, you develop your tribe. A lot of healing happens because everybody's practicing on each other and giving
Mhm.
messages from, thank you, Nancy. She's one of my girls.
Yeah.
And when we're working together, we're getting messages from guides and loved ones and spirit animals, things like that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
people are getting healing from just being a
Sure.
student. So you're going there to develop your own mediumistic awareness, and then you're getting healing from it at the same time because people that you love are coming through and giving you
Right.
messages. So it's kind of win-win all around. And if you put the effort in, if you're willing to do the work, and that's just with life itself. If you're
Mhm.
willing
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
grow, if you're willing to keep growing, I don't care how old you are, I don't care how much you've learned, I don't care how much experience you have,
Mhm.
as long as you're willing to keep trying and
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
something that grows you,
Mhm.
good things will happen.
I think you just described
Yeah.
me perfectly. I mean, again, I'm not like specifically like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that, but I have had absolutely 1,000,000%
Mhm.
experiences that I can't deny, that involve,
Yeah.
white glowing light and
Mhm.
and and actual visions. Like, a quick story is a meditation. When I started meditating and I was like learning meditation, I was there with a friend of mine, who I wanted to mention when we were talking about beyond. So remind me that. But I was there
Yeah.
with a friend of mine, um, and we were in the meditation, and there was a moment in there was a woman there who had brought her like 8-year-old daughter. So it was like before the meditation, Steve, who was running the meditation, talked about this girl, and that she actually has meditated before. In class they do meditation for her whatever
Oh.
school she was in, so she loved to meditate. So it was so cool, right? And so we're meditating, and I have this vision. I'm above everyone. I see my friend Linda next to me, and this girl. Oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. This young girl walks over to me, and she's like, "Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's all right," and I was like, "Okay," I didn't know what that meant. I didn't really I was meditating, right? I didn't pay much mind to it. It was like what was happening. I
Mhm.
was like, okay, this is cool. And then after the meditation, everybody kind of talked about their experiences. That was part of the whole thing. I didn't mention my experience. And Steve, I went over to Steve and I'm talking to Steve, and this woman comes over with her daughter, and Steve's like, oh, this is, I forget what her name was. It was quite a long time ago, but this is whoever, and this is her daughter. And the daughter comes over to me and just hugs my leg, like just hugs me. And I just felt like this chill go through me. I was like, wait a second, I experienced this, like this was, and it was just, again, there was light involved, a glowing light, and there was I guess a visceral experience of seeing. I guess it was, what kind of clair would you say? Is that a clair or clair, like visual clair?
It's kind of all of that mixed in one. So yeah, so with your vision, that is your clairvoyance. We're all clairvoyants. All you do is imagine a red rose or a red apple in your mind. You can picture it. That's your clairvoyance. We all have it. Only difference is a spirit person could put those images in, or a guide could put those images when working in that way. That's the only difference. And then with your feeling, that's your clairsentience. So you're picking up on the emotion, the emotional expression. Then you're also having this energetic. It's more than energetic. It's the power of the spirit of you and the power of spirit world around you, working through her, connecting with you in that way. So yeah, you're having a very combined mystical experience. I'm telling you, you're a mystic, because you're a mystic. Just sorry, I just have to keep telling you that you're a mystic.
I've been told a lot of strange things about what I am.
Yeah. And you said some important words. You said cannot deny, because that is a very significant place to be, because there's believing, there's knowing, and then there's cannot deny. And you've gotten to cannot deny. That's very important.
Interesting. That's interesting that you say that, because I just leveled up because I can specifically remember a point in my life where I went from believing to knowing. And so now you're saying I'm going from knowing to cannot deny.
Cannot deny, yeah, because knowing still has a little flexibility to it. It really does. I thought I knew this, but now I know it to be this way. So you see, there's flexibility and growth, and there's cannot deny. I know for sure it's not going to change, that there is a spirit world, and that experience happened. And that's what mediumship does, because if you've given enough to a person that they know cannot deny, that this medium who they've never met has brought facts, evidential, expressions of their loved one, but then also given them experience and helped to be that conduit of love, that loving expression, and a message that also makes sense to them, that they can hold in their heart, and then feel that person have that emotional experience like you had when you met that little girl. That's the whole, that's the whole combined experience you want to get. That person could go now from believing or knowing to cannot deny, and that can change their whole world after that. It's not our job to prove anything, but if we do, what a miracle is that, because they will never look at life the same.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that's significant of when you started reading, right? Like the way I felt about it was you were so sure of what you were saying. You couldn't, you knew what you were saying, whatever it was, and I can't deny that you're having that experience, right? I'm not even like, oh, she's just making this up. You know what I mean? It's like, I just feel it. I'm just like, oh, wow. Like, and it was a lot of information. You were pulling it. Like, I don't even know if you remember, because it seemed almost like you were a little
I start
bit
channeling.
of a trance.
I'm a trance medium too, so I start channeling also. Debbie does that as well, so we both find ourselves doing that. So yeah, so that started happening too. So sometimes the message just starts going into a channel, because we're just in it, and then it's like we don't even know what's coming out. It's just flowing out. It's a good way to be.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was feeling, right? Where somebody else might be like, what the heck's going on? I was like, oh, it's evident what's going on, right? I knew exactly what was happening. So I think that's pretty cool. I see the Wizard of Oz is out there. What's up, Wiz? Good to see you.
I love that.
Brian is a good friend of mine, and he is legit a wizard. He can do some amazing things. I'll have to introduce you, but yeah, he's an amazing guy. I am so grateful for the cast of characters in my life you included, because now you are part of it. But it's just amazing. I love all of the experiences and all of the perspective haphazers out there show like this. I feel like, we're all an aspect of source, right? And it's like, once you realize, okay, I'm an aspect of source, that means, well, so are you. And and we've talked about this before, like, I've got my puzzle piece, you've got your puzzle piece, we meet each other, we're like, hey, do these fit together? Oh yeah, look, they fit here. Or no, you go over here in the puzzle and I go over here in the puzzle. But that's okay, because the puzzle is still the big picture.
It
And
sure
it's
is.
just such a freeing way of looking at things. I think it allows you to really go out there and be non-judgmental of others, for the most part,
Yeah.
as much as you can, all
Yeah.
that. So I see, I didn't get to read this, but I want to pop it up so I can read. I had an experience yesterday, Gwendolyn. I was on the phone with my
Hi,
sister, and I
Gwendolyn.
see a dark shadow walk across my foyer. And then I
Mm,
walked outside, and my chimes in my yard started moving among them. No wind happening. All I
mm.
told them thank you, and I kept walking to my car. So you had a feeling, you felt like you were experiencing something, right?
Yeah. So she actually was seeing things in a objective way. So she, with her, versus in her mind's eye, she was seeing the objective, the shadow. That's actually real common. Sometimes, oh, I see a shadow, they might be scared of it. That's actually a very common thing to happen. There's nothing scary about it. It could be spirit, or it could be, spirit showing you what you're capable of doing, of having objective clairvoyance, which is really super cool, because not that many people can see spirit outside with their eyeballs like that too.
Right.
And then she had the wind chime, so she had that, also that clarification, because spirit moves with the wind, they can
Hmm.
make that happen
Hmm.
too. So that's really special, Gwendolyn. I'm so happy that you got to experience that.
Totally.
She's a
Totally.
lovely lady.
And
Gwendolyn.
is the unicorn in the chat.
Mm.
That was cool. The things that Helen says, the things that I know related to future discovery, science, quantum biology, quantum physics, history of it, the things I just know are related to. I'm not sure what you're saying here, Helen, but I know that those are the things you're interested in. And that's why you're here in this show, because those are the things we love
Mm.
talking about. All of that stuff.
Yeah.
I listen. I love all forms of energy and all different ways of perceiving it and expressing it. And I love, like you said, like learning. Still always learning. Like, oh, look at that expression and how that's being, received and then
Yeah.
reflected or whatever it might be. Really, really cool stuff. So I don't know if you felt drawn to anybody, or if you saw, I did see some other people. I just want to experience it again. That was just so much fun. So
I
let
could
me.
do some channeling too for you if you would like. I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
have
So
little,
let's talk about that. So you
yeah,
do channeling. Is there a
yeah.
specific entity? Who? Tell me more about what you
Um,
channel, who you channel, how you.
that's I channel love. I channel divine love. That's what I channel. So yeah, it used to be more, this guide, that guide, and then it just kept kind of like, that's so I just like to call it, sometimes that comes in as a we, most of the time kind of as a collective we, but it's really just divine love. So that's
Okay,
what
and
I
does
would
it
say
come
I
through
channel.
like as messages for the collective, or do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Okay,
like it would, the message would come through with what anybody's, here might need to hear, or would help them feel an experience of
okay,
connecting, a feeling experience of spirit and love for themselves.
okay. I did. Oh, this was one that I saw. Before you do that, because I do want you to do that if you don't mind. I
Sure.
saw Helen earlier asked. She said she had a friend Bill, and she said if he happens to have a message, she would really love to hear from him. And Helen is a regular
Okay.
listener here.
Helen Love, have you been having weird things happen with your phone? Because I'm feeling like he's trying to connect with you, like on your phone by. So are you having like ringing or weird numbers or things like that? So I just want to ask you that. I could be wrong, but it's somehow I'm connected to your phone. I also know he's telling me you're feeling things on your hands too. So I feel like he's trying to touch your hands to give you validation that he's there too. He's doing something about his hair. So I don't know if he lost his hair or had a full head of hair, but he's commenting something about the hair, because he's usually going. Usually this means like I used to be a little thin, but I got it all back now, kind of thing with Bill too. but he feels like he was a bit of what I want to say is structured, structured person in his mannerisms, so he could think, he could be well thought out and use logic and reasoning and things and help to kind of solve problems. And this is one of the reasons why you liked him, because he helped you feel safe and grounded. It feels like that he kind of gave that to you too. But also there was a camaraderie, and I feel like he could just make you laugh. Now, all of us women know we love any man who can make us laugh, because that's one of like our top things that we love. So I know this is one of the things that you would love about him. He's a very heart-centered man, so very logic reasoning, but also had a very heart of gold, I want to say, a person who would give to others, and you would feel kind of like protected in that kind of sense of the way. So breathing issues with him prior to passing, you see, I really have a hard time like getting all of this going. So there's something really going on like with this breathing space prior to passing. I also know he shows me being very flushed like this too. So he was definitely ill before he passed with weakness. So usually they've got some kind of illness or cancer or something like that, that gives me that kind of feeling too. And he would just need to sleep a lot. He would just, because I feel like I just need to go to sleep with him too. He lets me know, okay, he used to talk on the phone a lot and you dreamt last night. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that, Helen. He also lets me know that he wants you to know that he was aware of spirit, greeting him when he goes off to spirit world. Because I do feel like loved ones, there's angels and the divine are always there too, but there's loved ones that come for him too. And he was just like, oh my God. He was just like, oh my God. So upon passing, he was just like, oh my God, we're going here, you're here. So that's what he wants you to know about his transition to spirit world, was very like, oh my God. That's
Relief.
what he keeps saying to it too. So, beyond his wildest dreams and comprehensions, talking about dreams beyond his wildest dreams. Two, he gives me fives for you, Helen. So I know you've had a lot of transformation and a lot of changing too. He's letting you know it will settle down in a few months. You got a little bit more time with that, but not to worry. He's got your back with that too. Okay, too. But he wants you to know you're beautiful, and he kind of like wants to kind of touch your cheek, and he would kind of joke around and kid you and help you to kind of see the lighter side. And he kind of like does a little shake it off. So if something kind of gets your goat, you see something on TV or someone's rude, he says, just shake it off. He's saying, just shake it off. So he would be good at helping you with that too. So those are the main things that he's giving me here too. But I feel like he just wants you to give a warm hug. Know when you're missing him too, there's nostalgia in that too, because there's good memories, and so those good memories can also bring beautiful happiness too with those good memories too. But just know, I feel like I want to say he's always got your back, and that's really important. And I would not be surprised if some weird things do happen on your phone, because that would be fun for him to do, because he's got that tinkering kind of mind. So he could kind of play with the lights or tap on the walls and things like that, or mess with your radio and your clock and things like that. So just something to pay attention to, because I feel like that would be fun for him to communicate with you, as long as he knows you're kind of open to it and kind of expecting it. Because then it won't startle you, if that makes sense. You had a lot of inside jokes. Perfect too. So he'll keep you laughing. Don't worry, he'll find a way. So I hope that helps. Helen. Thank you.
Awesome. That's so
you.
great. Awesome. She says, thank you, Jennifer. I will be open to it. Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah, I would love to, we still got a little time. If you want to channel, I would love you to. I do want to take advantage of the crew you brought. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is what my show is about. I love giving space to people to talk about how they connect to source, to express how they connect to source, psychic mediums to give readings, healers to give healing, lovers to give loving, whatever it might be. So if anybody, I don't want to ask you guys I see a lot of people on Facebook. I don't want to ask you necessarily to hop over to YouTube, but I will say, if anyone types subscribed, and I expect that you will go to YouTube and subscribe before you say that, I will ring my bell for you. This is my gimmick. I can ring this bell. I don't ask you to ring the bell. I ask you to subscribe, and I'll ring it for you. I'll say your name out loud. But thank you so much for bringing your community with you for this moment.
I'm very lucky. I have some of the most beautiful friends on earth. I'm so lucky. I'm really so lucky.
and
I'm
that's why
just
and that's why
they're
you
all
do.
queens and angels, you know.
That's why you have them, because you're so grateful, that you have them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We
Very cool.
we've all
Oh,
taken care of each other. Like it's
Stasia
amazing.
says she subscribed. I'm gonna ring that for Stasia, and Kathy
Yay.
says she
Okay.
subscribed. I'll ring it for Kathy. Thank you guys, ladies, so much.
Oh, there's
Um,
Fran.
Yay. Um, so okay, so how do you channel? Do you need to prepare yourself? What?
No, I can go in pretty quick and close my eyes, but Fran's she's a fairy queen. She channels the fairies, and we she texts me. Do you want to know what 5D world looks like, everyone? She texts me, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I had a really long day. I'm listening to music and I'm trancing out and I'm getting downloads from the eternal." She's like, "Cool." And I thought after that, I wonder what normal people would say.
That's funny. Yeah, that's
I'm
normal
like,
to me. That's
I'm
that's
just
what.
getting downloads from the eternal while I'm trancing. And I realized how strange that would be to other people.
That's awesome. That's the other thing I love about this place. You can say anything here and not be
I know,
considered
right?
weird. Very cool.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what they have for us. Okay.
All
So
right.
just give me a moment just to breathe. And I just would suggest with everybody, just send love to each other as you have been, and to Michael and myself, and then just pay attention to the atmosphere and how you feel, because that is a good indicator what the power that you feel in your room. You may feel a little subdued or get a little sleepy with that, or get emotions and heart openings and things like that. So those are good indicators that you're experiencing that kind of trance energy with that too. So, okay. Hello. Good evening. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls, friends of ours. We know you very, very well, more than you know. It is always a gift for us, for spirit, for the divine, to be able to connect in this way, to communicate across the invisible barriers of space and time. We move into a space of open awareness that we share. It is a space of the beloved, where we journey into ourselves and into each other. And that connection cannot be put into words that can be formed and spoken, but it is there. It is love. It is grace. And there is a peacefulness that you feel. You are here, and you know you are here, and you know that you know that you know you are here. You are all created from thought and love. And you are all perfect in every expression. And you may question this, but this is what we see. And this is what we know. And this is what we will not deny, because it is. Very few things that you experience will be constant. For as you are all aware, everything changes, everything transforms. Creation, destruction, creation, destruction. But there are only a few things that are constant, and that is you are perfect and indestructible. You are eternal. You have always existed, and you always will. And therefore, the fear of change, the fear of transformation, the feelings of loss of what you once were or who you once were are illusions. And that is all right. It is part of the journey. But we tell you now, they are illusions because you always are. Why? We think you know that you are divine. You are divine being you. All of you are love. But we will tell you, we know that the experiences that each of you have, everything you feel, everything you think, everything you go through is not always easy. In fact, most of the time, it isn't. And so we need to comfort you and acknowledge the journey is a big one. It's a hard one. But you're all doing it. You're all here now. We hold you in the difficult moments. And you wonder why. Eventually you understand. But in the why, a seed is cracked open. And another version of you pushes through the soil of your manifestation, of your reality, and moves out into the atmosphere and into the light and into the grace and the glory of who you are. Take a moment and consider that in the pain and in the why, you have been cracked open in the most beautiful and glorious way, because you are becoming more and more of you, evolving, ascending, growing, becoming more and more of you. That means that your beauty, your love, your compassion, your grace, everything that is really true about you increases, expands, and grows, and therefore nothing is destroyed. It's just rearranged. But creation is beyond, therefore, more. You become more. never less, always more. Each and every one of you is love. So remember, if you feel that the external does not see you for who you are, or if you feel that you do not see you for who you are, you are love. You are eternal. You are hope. You are divine. And so is everyone else. No matter what. And it is okay if you don't always remember that. You are not meant to, or you would be where we are. But it is unfolding for you more and more and more. So we say, look up to the stars. Look into your universe. Expand your mind. But we also say, right here in front of you, in your earthly realm, in your world, there is beauty all around you. Angels exist in the eyes of the human beings in front of you who remember you, check on you, love you, give to you, and ask from you. Spirit finds its way in many, many, many ways to you to remind you that your world is meaningful and beautiful and wonderful. Everything is here for you to create more beauty, more love, more grace. And you will, and you are. So if you say, I cannot do that, I cannot make that happen, you can, and you will. Why? Because you're spirit. Of course you can. You're you. In the heart of all hearts, it all comes down to love. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, Jennifer.
Thank you.
That was incredible. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. I feel like my show, myself, my listeners, we've all been blessed with those words. That was really very, very powerful. People are saying thank you, love. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, powerful. Definitely, Jennifer, man, that is. I really. We got to talk, you and I, after the show. That was amazing. That was really amazing. Thank you. And Helen said that was just what she needed right here, right now.
Thanks.
Really, really beautiful. Well, I don't think I can top that. But I can't thank you enough for being on my show, for sharing your amazing gifts, Your amazing energy, your amazing smile, your being, everything, your words, everything was more than I could have wished for. I love it. Oh, I love that you're
Very kind. Thank you, Michael.
emotional. Yeah, no, I'm just speaking my heart right now. This is what this is all about. You know, this is really what it's all about. And Arnie says, "You are a beautiful soul. Nice
Thank
seeing you
you.
both.
Thank you.
Breathtaking. Yeah, really amazing. Let me say thank you again. I can't thank you enough for spending your time with us and sharing your gifts. I'm going to put you in the green room so I can take a breath, say goodbye to my listeners, and don't disconnect, because I do want to talk to
I
you.
won't. I won't. And thanks to everybody who came on and joined and held space for us and each other. You're all amazing. So I appreciate everybody so much. And I'm glad I got to meet some new friends here today.
It felt
Thank you.
good, didn't it feel good? I think we all felt each
It's
other tonight. So I think we do all the time, but tonight
just what the doctor ordered.
it was extra special. Yeah. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh man, folks, what is happening? This show is just really fulfilling to me. I hope it is to you. This is amazing. Dawn Marie, yes, there will be a replay. You missed a good one, so definitely watch it. Tim is saying obrigado. I love when he says that, bringing a little international flair to my show always. That was really, really beautiful. And I feel blessed. Let me just open my calendar here. Next week I've got Minty May on my show. This should be an interesting one. I've really, again, I thank Transcend with Debbie and her community, and I think just the universe has just really opened up some interesting pathways. I got some interesting guests coming up. So for all the folks who've been here since day one, thank you. Thanks for the people who subscribed. Anyone I missed, boom, thank you for subscribing. I will see you guys next week. I'm excited about everything that's going on. Peace.